How's everybody doing? My name is Mike, and we got Mr. Mamba with us today. He's a 5-month-old goldendoodle mix, and we're going to talk a little bit about communicating with your dog. So let's talk about marking their behavior. And what I mean when I say marking their behavior is we're either encouraging them or discouraging them. So when we mark the behavior, we're either encouraging the dog or discouraging the dog. If I'm encouraging the dog, I can use my praise to reward the dog. So the dog does something good, I can say, good boy, and then give the dog, good boy, good sit. Like the dog sitting here right now, not doing anything, minding his own business, good sit, good boy. So that's encouraging the behavior that he's doing right now. Now if I want to discourage his behavior, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say no, and that marks the behavior, no, and then I'm going to give him a correction. Like right now, good boy, that's the marker, the good boy, and then the affection is the reward. So when I say good boy to the dog knows that affection is coming after the good boy. So the good boy is the marker for the affection. Same thing when we're discouraging. When I say no, that's marking the behavior. Then the dog knows a correction is coming. So it works equal both ways. If we're encouraging, we say good boy, and then he knows affection is coming. When we're discouraging, we say no, and we always back that up with a correction for the dog. So I'm going to go ahead and work the dog in heel and sit, and just to give you guys an idea, just to kind of see how I'm marking the dog's behavior and how that's going to give you a clear line of communication with the dog if it's done right. Typically what happens with a puppy like this, it's not done right. The dog is given a bunch of unearned affection, which is the payment for the dog. So if the dog gets paid for not doing anything, why would he ever do what you ask him to do? So the way we get the dog to work is we limit affection to the times when the dog's doing something that we want him to do. Even like right now, good boy. So this is an example of marking. So I'm going to work him a little bit. So because he's going to not do exactly what I say, that's how we teach them, is through corrections they actually learn what we want. And the corrections don't have to be harsh, they can be very light. Again, it's communication. So I'll go ahead and start working them and give you and point out the example of when we're saying, or you can kind of listen when I'm saying good or no, encouraging or discouraging. Okay, heel. Good boy, encouraging, good boy. Sit, good boy. Heel. Sit, good boy, good sit. So we're encouraging the dog the entire time. Heel right now. Sit, good boy. It's when he doesn't do what I ask. So when I move here, this is kind of new for him. Sit, so I'm repeating, sit, good. No, so no, correction, sit, sit, good. Nope. Just like that. Heel. So I'm going to take him back to the same spot from where he moved. Sit. Okay, sit. So I'm repeating sit. Let him know what I want. Sit. No. Sit. 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 Good. Good sit. Sit. So we're going to do it again. Sit. If I think he's going to move, I repeat the command. Nope. Sit. 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 Good boy. Good sit. Good job. Heel. Sit. Sit. Good. Good sit. Good boy. Good job. Heel. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Good. Good sit. Good boy. Heel. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Atta boy. Good. Sit. Good. Heel. Good. So you can kind of see so you can kind of see how it helps to give the dog a clear line of communication. You know, so you can see how it helps to give the dog a clear line of communication. Sit, to let the dog know what I want from him, and when he does what I want, then he knows he's doing what I want. Without that limiting affection, giving it to the dog at the right time, the dog actually doesn't know what you want. It's not clear to the dog. You confuse the dog. A lot of owners confuse the dog by telling the dog no, 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 and then giving a correction or giving affection after they've told the dog, don't do this, and then they say good boy after they do it. So if the dog didn't sit for me, I would say no, correction, sit, and then if the dog sat, I wouldn't say good boy because I had to correct the dog. Good boy. I'm only going to say good boy when I don't have to correct the dog, meaning the dog does it the first time. The way we do that is we show them with a leash. So to keep it simple, you want to mark all your behaviors. You want to encourage or discourage the behavior. You want to be clear. You do not want to encourage things you don't want the dog to do. And a lot of times this happens by mistake because owners don't know the proper way to communicate with the dog or how to properly teach a dog how to do things. So what happens is they send mixed signals. It is the exact same as trying to speak a language you do not understand. So a lot of people have dogs and they just start trying whatever comes to them, whatever they feel is right for them, how they think a dog should learn, when in reality it is a language that you must learn to understand what is happening. One of the first things I do with the dog is I start marking their behaviors so they can start to understand what I want from them. Okay, like right now, see he's licking the ground, so I say, hey, hey, and give him a little small correction. Just to let him know that's not what I want. Anytime we want to correct the dog, we back it up with a correction. So you want to mark your dog's behaviors. That's one of the first things we do for a dog. That's how we create the line of communication and get the dog's trust. We earn trust because the dog knows that we understand what's happening and what's happening with the dog and the dog's body language. So the dog becomes much more comfortable because it's with someone who understands what the dog is communicating. And I can also communicate to the dog very clearly by my body language. Again, a big mistake owners make is they do not know much about training at all, and they go forth anyway trying to train the dog on their own, and they simply confuse the dog, and there's many nuances to know in dog training. So lucky for this dog, yeah, I have worked with these owners before, and they just got him. They had him for like a day. They called me and got the dog to a trainer, which is the right way to start off with your dog. If you don't know how to speak the language, you got to get someone who does and who can start the dog off on the right foot.